Hey, welcome to the No Half Cakes podcast, which is now an official thing because you're listening to the first episode of it. My name is Jim Sabelico. If you've never met me before, I would love to introduce myself to you, and that's kind of the purpose of this first episode, is really to lay the framework for who I am, what No Half Cakes really stands for, where I've been, where I'm going, and why this matters at all to you. So, in order for us to really understand where we're going, I think the first step here is to kind of take a step back and figure out where I've been, where I started from. So, disclaimer before anything goes here, my intent for all of this is to show up as real and as raw and authentic as possible. So, I'm going to give you that version, and it's that I was going to be comfortable, but I think it's a disservice to myself and to you if I give you anything less than the raw and authentic version of my life, because the intent is to help you in yours. And putting on a facade, giving you the social media version of my life isn't going to help anybody. So some of this stuff might be uncomfortable, but my life's an open book, and I'm here to share it. All right, so let's rewind. I started my first business when I was 8 years old. Cutting grass in the neighborhood, making a couple $100. It was awesome because as an 8-year-old kid in the 90s, you had some money and you could do whatever you want because, you had no bills, right? So I used to convince my mom to take me to the toy store. I'd buy whatever toy I wanted. And as an 8-year-old kid, again, you're on top of the world. Do whatever you want. That feeling of freedom and success hit me early, and I loved it. And it transitioned into other businesses, which, man, is a lot to even name, but pretty much you name it, I've tried it. I really developed this mindset of business and finding ways to make money, and it stuck with me for a long time. And that was what I believed was a gift that I had to walk into a situation and figure out how to make money out of it. So as I got older and kind of tried to figure things out, there came a time about 11 years ago where I had a bunch of people asking me for help with computer things. I've always had a ability to fix things when it came to computers. And, talking with my wife, we decided, let's make a company out of it. Let's make it a real legitimate thing. And so trying to figure out what to name that company, she suggested we name it J. Lewis. That was her idea. J for Jim, Lewis is my middle name. And the intention at that point was, it sounded fancy, right? We wanted to sound high class. We wanted to attract a upper scale customer, and it worked pretty well. And I made a bunch of money. It's been 11 years, just about, with that name as the forefront of this business. And marketing, website development, things in the design, development, and growth space is where I spend a lot of time. We've added a lot of teammates in. We've had a lot of success in that. It's been a lot of fun. But lately, it has been weighing on me a lot that it's lost its purpose. The business started as a way to provide freedom for myself to grow, serve other people in their needs, but the core of it was about building a business and having some level of financial success and freedom. It didn't serve me anymore. It doesn't serve me anymore. And it has been weighing on me a lot because I don't want to do a thing to dedicate my life, my time toward a thing that's not going to do anything other than its primary goal of making a profit over purpose. That's step one. Okay. And bear with me because the story might be a little all over the place. It's all from the heart, so let it flow. That's the origin of J. Lewis. Okay. That's how we got to where we are now. Now I want to rewind a little bit further. When we first had our first kid, Joseph, who is right here, I wasn't prepared to be a dad. I don't know that a lot of people really are. I didn't have a fatherly instinct that I could find, but my wife, man, the best mother I could possibly find for our kids. You could put any kid in the world in her hands and she is going to mother that kid and have that kid happy in moments. It's a gift. She is amazingly gifted at being a mother, and I recognize that. And as a man, I was like, I don't know how to be a great dad, right? I've got examples of great dads. I had my own great dad, but I didn't really know, right? I wasn't around to see what to do with a 3-month-old. I didn't know what to do with this kid. And what I did, stupidly, was lean in on what I did know how to do. I went and I was spending time doing the thing that I knew how to do best. Making money, growing business. And I poured into that because that was my identity at the time. I knew that I might not know everything about raising a kid, but I knew that I could pour my heart and soul into growing a business and providing income and stability for the family so that my wife could do what she did best and, pour in as a mom. And I had zero doubt in her ability to mother our kids, to give them the love and support and the just everything they needed to be amazing kids. But what wound up happening is I didn't show up really for her, and it wasn't as if I was out doing anything bad. But I would leave the house at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, go work, and come home at 8-9 o'clock at night, thinking the whole time I am grinding and hustling and doing what I got to do to grow the business and stack up lots of money and be successful. And turns out I wasn't. What I was doing was leaving all the pressure of taking care of the house, having a life, raising our kids on my wife. And that sucked for her and was crappy of me to do that. I see that now, right? So that all came to a head for me on my son's birthday, his 6th birthday. And there is a picture I'm going to show you in a minute, which is the wallpaper of my phone. It's a picture I see hundreds of times a day, and I hold it near and dear to my heart. And I want to explain it to you in its full context so you understand what it means, why we're here, and how this all kind of ties together. 8:45 at night, I came home my son's birthday because I have no idea what I was doing. I was working, but I couldn't tell you. It must have been something that I thought at the moment was important. Obviously, it wasn't. But I came home at 8:45 at night and wanted to sing happy birthday. And my wife pulls out the birthday cake, half gone. My heart sunk. And here's the picture before we go any further. So this, my new kids, my son 6, my daughter 3. It's 8:45 at night, and she's excited. He's got this kind of half smile because he's exhausted. And this is now the second time that they're singing happy birthday because I missed the first one. So what had happened was he had some friends over after school, and rightly so, they wanted to celebrate his birthday. So they sang happy birthday. They cut the cake. They had some cake. They enjoyed it. They made some memories. I wasn't there for those. So I got to get the leftovers and sing happy birthday over a half a cake. And I took this picture, and I knew when I took it that this was a moment that I needed to assign some meaning to. And the meaning of this moment didn't necessarily sink in until later. And honestly, it sinks in a little bit more every day. But I realized in this moment that while I was quote unquote successful, I was killing it in the business world. I was making money. I was doing all the things I thought I was supposed to do. Because again, that's what I was leaning in on. That was my identity at the time. I wasn't successful in my own house. And I realized having a nice bank account, a nice business, a nice car, a nice house doesn't mean anything if you don't show up in it in the best version of yourself. So that, to me, was where I decided to make that creed, that motto of no half cakes. And what it means to me is I'm going to approach every situation in my life knowing that I don't want another half cake moment. I don't want another moment in my life where I'm going to look back on and see I missed out on whatever it is, right? Whatever this opportunity is, whatever this experience is, this moment that we have, right? We're not guaranteed every day. Every day that we wake up, breath in our lungs, is an opportunity to show up for ourselves, for everyone else that we love. And when we take it for granted and we don't show up as the best version of ourselves, it's a disservice. And we don't know for sure we're going to get that chance back. So, that to me was where I decided no more half cakes, right? So that moment, 8:45 at night, October 29th, is where I decided we're going to flip the switch on what being successful means. Being successful no longer means having the biggest business on the block, having the best bank account, having the nicest house. It means showing up as the best version of yourself in your business, but also in your house, as a husband, as a father, as a community member, and for yourself. And I tell you all this because I want the same for you. And the reason why this is all relevant to Jay Lewis, to the business side, to web development, to you, is because I realized that the business, Jay Lewis, right? Over time, it became a thing for me, which I used, right? I built up this amazing company with amazing people in it who are all top of their game, right? Amazing designers, developers, advertisers. I have the best people here because of their heart, right? This is a bunch of people who care deeply about what they do, not necessarily just in it for the paycheck. And those people are all with me for the other businesses, right? So I've built this team up who are all now sort of like the support system for all the different businesses that I am personally connected to, family and friends have. But it lost the purpose, right? It became still this mix of like weird support systems / still getting for profit jobs. And it hasn't been sitting right with me. So we have been talking internally here and just ultimately decided that it was time for a change. And what that change means is starting over. Not starting over from scratch, starting over from experience, right? It's not failure. It's an opportunity to begin again with a clearer vision and purpose and understanding of why we're doing what we do. And we thought it fitting to have that reflected in the name and in every single part that touches everything we do. So that was kind of the impetus behind moving from Jay Lewis to No Half Cakes. what this means going forward is this. Everything that we do for ourselves, for you, is focused around that mission of making it possible for every person we interact with to keep that no half cakes commitment in their own lives. Building a business is not rocket science, right? If you've done it enough times, you understand there's a process and a system that takes place in order to do that. Having been doing this for nearly 30 years, I failed a lot. I've understood what works, what doesn't work, and figured these things out. But there came a point where doing this for myself, for profit, no longer served me, my family, the people that I work with. It needed to be for a purpose. So that's what the next step here is. That's what No Half Cakes is. That's why I'm doubling down on this commitment. Right? It's not just the brand. It's a commitment to every person that we interact with. Internally, our clients and customers, their families, their customers, right? Every person that has its little butterfly wing effect on this needs to have the opportunity to live that No Half Cakes life. Because, again, I can pour our efforts into growing a business that sells widgets. We could run some ads on TikTok and make a bunch of money. But for what? What does it achieve? What legacy is that leaving people? How is it making the world a better place? I'm trying not to get too deep on this, but it's deep. This is an opportunity to serve, and I don't take that lightly. And I don't take this conversation lightly, because you are giving your time, which is your greatest gift, to sit here and listen to me talk about this. And I really deeply want you to understand what this means. I want you to understand how serious I and we are about this. And it's not just a brand. It's not just marketing. It's a commitment that we honor in our own lives and are willing to stand up in for you, because I want you to have the same thing. Right? I want you to be able to grow an amazing business, to have the freedom to take off on a Tuesday afternoon and pick your kids up from school and not have to worry about what's going on in the business. Right? I want you to be able to have the money in the bank to be able to handle whatever life throws at you. I want you to live your best possible life, because we only get one shot at this. Right? There's no trial run here. We only have one opportunity to do this. And for us to give anything less than our best possible version of ourselves, man, it's a waste. So, with all that being said, I have rambled a lot. And again, this is episode 1 of this thing. And it's going to evolve over time. To be honest with you, I haven't yet decided the exact format we're going to follow. Whether it's going to be interviews, conversations like this one, I don't know. But I know the purpose. And I believe that if we show up every day and pour into that purpose, results will come. Right? The right people are going to hear this. The right people will connect with it. The right people will grow. And that's my ask for you in all of this. My ask is that 2 things. 1, you show up for yourself, for everyone in your life who loves you. Because even though you might not always know it, you are inspiring people around you. I want you to show up. People are watching. People are learning what's possible based on your definition, right? Based on you and the standard that you set in your life. You are letting people around you know what's possible. So keep showing up. No matter how difficult it gets, keep showing up. Just give that commitment to yourself. And if no one else will support you, I will. Okay? I don't care if you ever feel like you're the last person on earth. You are not. DM me, call me, find me. I will support you. I'll stand next to you 100% of the way. That's what this is for. Right? We have an obligation to show up for ourselves, the people we love, and any person that we interact with, to give them that hope. The world is not a terrible place. We are giving way too much face time to people who are giving terrible messages because it gets views. I don't care about the views. I'm not doing this for millions of views, downloads, accolades. I don't care if I ever get a trophy or a thank you for this. This is for you. And if you know someone who can benefit from this, whether it's this conversation that you just heard, this friendship, having someone to talk to, I ask that you share that with them. I ask that you just say, hey, check this out, go talk to this guy. I want people to understand what we're here for is growth. And it's not just growth in the business sense. It's not just growth in trackable metrics and KPIs. It's growth in the sense of I want you to understand how capable you really are and live the life that you can have. You can have whatever life you want. You just have to be willing to pay the price for it. And it's a lot easier when you've got people in your corner who are willing to stand up and support you on that mission. And again, I'm your guy. I'll stand up in your corner every step of the way. And I am backed by an incredible group of friends and family who do that for me. So that's it. Okay, this is probably not the most eloquent ending to a podcast or whatever you want to call this thing, but it's from the heart. And it's what you're going to get, right? This is, like I said, raw and authentic and real. This is not scripted. This is not rehearsed. This is take number 1, raw and from the heart. So thank you for sticking with me to babble for that long. Hopefully that made some sense to you and you got some value out of that. And I look forward to having this conversation continue. I look forward to working together in some way, shape, or form, even if that's just a high five when we pass in the street. Let's keep it moving. Keep that tide rising. Love you. Thank you. Peace out.